In the subjects that we study in schools and colleges, let's say you considered maths, science, and by science, let's stick to physics, social sciences, literature, and art, visual art. Where do you find the role of belief the most? Which of these subjects, which of these areas of knowledge? Do you find that there is more opinion in social science? Let's just zero down to history. History versus physics, math versus art versus history, literature versus history. Where is opinion or belief? So when I say opinion and belief, of course, I am referring to a spectrum where there is a doubt. So where do you find that playing a role? The more are you more certain in science and physics than you are in art? Is the Big Bang theory a theory? Is it provable in a lab? 2 plus 2 is 4 is provable in a lab? X king was a great king is provable? Literature is all imagination? Really? Maybe it's only the names, and what it's pointing to is more real than something than even history. Now, we are looking and examining at the veracity of the information that is given to us, or the data, or the content. Which content is more reliable? If you wanted reliability and truth, if that was most important to you, which subject would you study? Physics or art? And if something is an opinion, does it mean that it is necessarily false? Think about that. Can we really, even in the so-called certain subjects, and people say, oh, it's not scientific, assuming that science is, and I'm using the word assuming that science is know-all and it cannot be questioned. But look at how often science has changed its notion. The notion of the heliocentric notion of the Earth being the center of the solar system as compared to the sun being the center of the solar system. These are opinions that have changed over history. As Galileo made the telescope, opinions changed, but they took a very long time. And a lot of beliefs were challenged over there. Now, if you're looking at math, what is that? That's the puzzling. You can't put 2 plus 2 in a test tube. You can't see it under a microscope. You can't use a telescope and, zoom into 2 plus 2. It's all in the mind. So when we say it's all in the mind, what is it? Have you ever wondered what 2 plus 2 means? I mean, we use math to prove something in science. But is math in itself provable? Is there a certain kind of knowledge that doesn't require proof? Like, let's say 2 plus 2. And if it doesn't require proof, yet we use it to prove something, where does that take us? And also, what does it show about the nature of knowledge itself and the branches of knowledge? Now, if you're looking at a painting, let's say, how do you give marks to it? And I use word mark because visual arts is a subject in schools and colleges. So somebody is sitting there and telling you, yeah, this is a great painting. So there's a criteria which is objective, and yet we consider art to be generally very subjective. I like the painting, so it's good. But in a university, in a school, then there are people, teachers, experts who will judge it and say this is a great painting. Somebody else walking in a museum will say, what's so great about it? I've had so many friends ask me, but I can't make any sense of Picasso. and somebody else will wax eloquent cubism and what it means and how it can be interpreted. Or somebody will say, oh, this Salvador Dali guy is so cool, look at the way his clock melts. So how do you decide what is right or what is good? Now, in art, good and right, are they interchangeable? How do you decide something is a great painting? It's something I haven't come to terms with till now. What's a great painting and who decides? In one era of time, you ignore the artist, and another era, the same painting is almost priceless. Nobody can afford it. So, how is the economics of value attached to a work of art as compared to a theory in science, the Big Bang Theory? Who knows? Tomorrow we'll say, no, this is hoax. The Big Bang Theory doesn't make sense. It's wrong. After all, it's a theory. You can't compress thousands and millions of years in a test tube. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Till now, it's not been done. So, it's a good idea to ask ourselves what matters more? What matters more to you? The truth or the experience? And then, of course, you have to ask yourself, is the experience truth or not? Now, these are deep questions, and this is to whet our understanding that there's a whole realm over here to be explored. When we are looking at areas of knowledge or subjects we study or teach in a school, do we examine ourselves? I mean, we just say a plus b whole squared is equal to a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. Learn it. I remember I just learned it. I didn't understand what it meant. I don't think I still understand what it meant. So how do you arrive at certain formulae? How do you arrive at a conclusion in an area of knowledge? How? The how is important. And then we also have to keep examining the how solid is the base. Because when we ask the how, we will have to ask ourselves, how reliable is this how? Wherever this notion is coming from, that this painting is brilliant as compared to, let's say, my niece did when she was 5 years old. Or how the theory of the universe, which is given in a let's say a belief system, compared to the Big Bang theory given in science, because that's also a theory. How do you decide on what's the basis? Okay, is there symbolism involved in notions that are mythical? So these are questions that we will go into. So, but it's important to understand that all areas of knowledge have a question mark about them, even math.